Welcome back to the AoT Chronicles and Attack on Titan podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ronnie.
I'm another one of your hosts, Chad.
And we are here to bring some straight heat. Season 3, Episode 18, Episode 55, Midnight Sun. Hey, are we looking at a Vincent van Gogh painting? Midnight Sun, how beautiful is that?
Beautiful, dude.
Oh my god. I mean, listen, we don't even need to say that much about this episode up front because y'all know what's going on here. This is some straight up... If you're not ready for 20 minutes of emotion, and then who even knows about this podcast, 45 minutes plus of emotion, get out of here.
Intensity, emotion, friends.
We've got some Kleenex. Love. I thought it was a weird... me and Chaz are currently holding hands because he asked me to. We're just trying to be here for each other right now. That's what we do. It's how we, have so much emotion on the podcast. Sometimes people think we're mean to each other, but in the end, we're going through this together. And same for you guys. So strap it on, and let's just get into this episode.
Oh yeah, strap it on like Mikasa.
I actually do want to pause momentarily. I got a couple of housekeeping things, just things that I've noticed right before I clicked record on the podcast that I want to get out of the way. First of all, you were worried that I wasn't going to have hot takes this episode. Let me just say, my friend, I have some heat.
Whoa.
And as far as you go, I saw you do a notebook switch. How many notebooks are we rocking at this point? You had a huge 5-subject, 500-page notebook, and now you went, oh, wait a second. You threw that one to the side, then you got another notebook.
I ran out of pages because of the last episode. I had so many pages of notes. I actually wrote down in there every little thing that made me cry. I didn't mention it on the pod because I figured people didn't want to hear that. But this one, all I have to say is I'm going to get super emotional about this one.
Me too. Let's just
get into it.
We return, okay? Aaron, he's on top of a roof with charred remains everywhere. I mean, first thing I'm thinking about, it must smell terrible around here. And it's just something that's not even like referenced in the show, but if you like look at things, you just know.
You know it smells terrible, but then again, they don't have deodorant to begin with, so I'm sure they all smell bad anyways.
Hey, if you're trying to compare some sort of stinky armpit to charred remains of a 50-meter Titan, I think you're...
Trust me, dude. Trust me when I say this. There are some people at my local gym that I go to that I feel like they've been hanging around charred remains all day.
I mean, especially you. I've never seen someone, deodorant to me is something that I wake up, put on pretty early in the day. You'll 2 hours into a day, I'll see yourself smelling yourself and then pulling some deodorant out of your bag and just slapping it on right there at work. What's up with that?
Some mornings I just forget about it, man.
And you've also claimed always to have one stinkier pit than the other.
My right pit is always stinky. I don't know if it's my sweat glands in there, if it's just my right arm works so hard and does things for me that...
Well, I'll tell you what. I think this area smells worse than your armpit. Okay. I'm just going to guess. So he's still in shock as he looks at Armin, and he just starts to blame himself. Just then, the crocodilian Titan approaches with Zeke still recovering on its back. This thing, they do a shot where it really shows the perspective of, like, first of all, how big the crocodilian Titan is. Then they do the thing where they give it the red eyes. It's got the big old lips. It's just a freaky looking thing, and I don't know. How is this one so different? What is this thing's story?
Well, to me, this one is really similar to Ymir's Titan. I feel like they're kind of on the same wavelength. Hers was like she used all four. It's like a quad. I don't even know how to explain it.
But to me, she's just kind of built like a monkey. Like, she looks as if she could stand up on her back legs and be, like, fine. She just kind of uses her front ones, kind of like she's a gorilla. This thing, straight up, is just like a 4-legged Titan.
Yeah, this thing's sick.
There's something, like, I don't know. I'm just very interested.
Do you have a problem with this Titan?
No, I'm intrigued by this Titan because I think there's a story behind this Titan because it is so different than all the other ones.
I will say this. I really want to see the user of this thing, see what it looks like.
And it is how many of the Titans have spoke? The Beast Titan?
Just the Beast, and Ymir slightly
Kinda.
talked.
She sounds scary, and then this one.
Because Ymir couldn't really... She actually could not have, like, full speech. Remember, she could barely say things.
Kind of like that. So...
This one can talk, and so can Zeke.
So there's, like, two. That's...
War Chief Zeke.
Very interesting. Yeah, put that in there. Just super interested in the Crocodilian Titan. Can't wait to learn more about it, or at least hope we learn more about it. So Aaron grabs Bert and puts his sword up to his throat. He puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that Zeke is the Beast Titan. And Zeke asks...
Zeke, by the way, Zeke, handsome guy with his glasses off.
Oh, yeah. While Hanji doesn't quite do it for me without the glasses, Zeke looks fine without. It's because of the beard. You don't have the glasses to look at, you kind of fall into the beard, and you just keep on going. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, Zeke's a handsome lad.
And Zeke asks if this is indeed Eren Yeager. And Eren gets even more stressed from this and starts to draw blood from Bert's throat with his blade. Zeke tells him that he looks nothing like his father, which confuses Eren as Zeke goes on to say that they are both victims of his father and that Eren was brainwashed by him.
Wow.
Dun, dun,
Bangers
dun.
right here.
Yeah, that's pretty intense stuff. Just then, Levi appears at the top of the wall to the displeasure of Zeke. Zeke tells him, let's call it a draw since they are both in no shape to fight.
Levi with his white eyes and steam every... Because he's just slaughtered, 5 Titans after...
However many Titans Zeke put on him right there at the end. He's been dealing with that and just shows up.
And plus, we know he went through the whole line of Titans before he even got to Zeke. So he's just got blood, steam, just everything all over him. So
even though he's trying to put on this intimidation factor or whatever, he's probably relieved when he hears Zeke let's not even worry about it right now, because he's probably okay.
Exhausted.
Because I am not, you're right, I am in no shape to do this right now.
It would have been interesting to see him versus Crocodilian Man.
That's true, yeah. Because, I don't... Crocodile Man seems pretty quick, but he doesn't have arms, so he's just he's all mouth.
Yeah.
Well, he's got arms, but no, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeke redirects his attention to Bert as he says sorry because he thinks this is the end for him. And Zeke speaks to Eren once more as he tells him that he is coming back someday to rescue him, and then just like that, him and Crocs bid them adieu.
Dude, this scene confused... The first time I saw this, it confused me so much that he said, I'll come back to rescue you. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, it's all very...
He knows who he is, he knows his father, and he's coming back to rescue him. After he just slaughtered all of his comrades, he's going to come back to rescue... that doesn't make any sense.
Yep. And there's a bigger discussion to be had later on. I will have to issue an apology, but at the same time, I'm not too hard on myself because I do want to talk some things through, but that's for a couple episodes down the road. Levi tells Eren that he just used the last of his gas and very intensely tells him to hand over his gas and blade so he can chase after Zeke. So, I was kind of wrong, I guess. Levi does want that smoke right now, but at the same time, I think deep down he knows that that's not a viable option. He's just caught up in the moment.
He is, he's full rage mode, though. He is very angry.
But you know what can calm everything down and make everyone pause for a second?
A good old hiccup.
A good old charred, slightest of coughs. I don't think he's got the hiccups, but...
He doesn't have the hiccups?
No, I don't think... it would be really weird for him to have hiccups right now.
He needs some water. This guy needs some milk.
Try and scare him.
He needs some milk.
Just sneak up behind charred Armin and just, Bill! Did that get him away? Did that get him? And for what I believe is the first time ever, they completely skip the opening credits altogether.
Yep.
They just show the title screen.
You know what that means? This shit is getting real, boy.
I mean, literally, 55 episodes, and they just skip it. They go, you know what? Not this go-round. Reiner, we cut over to him, and he's still in bad shape, as we know. He's looking like handsome Squidward, except maybe he's gotten even a little further along in the process at this point. He looks like one of those boxing dummies that are bald, have no arms and legs, but just a shredded six-pack. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I've beat up a few of those in my day.
Hanji has found a metal case he had in a pocket and is interrogating him about it. He apparently tried to grab it in a last-ditch effort before they cut off his limb, so this was important to him. I mean, she tries talking to him. This guy is in no condition to carry on a conversation.
Dude, I love how she asks if it's a bomb. I'm like, how does Hanji know about, like, fucking pocket-sized bombs?
Yeah.
This chick's crazy.
We see Mikasa making a sling for Jean, shipping it.
I agree. I'm all over it.
Shipping it.
She needs to get her head out of Aaron's asshole.
All I'm saying is last episode is the first time she let Aaron do his own thing. Now she's making a nice little sling for Jean.
And Jean says, ow, too. Did you catch that?
Yep.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
She apologized.
Your hands are so sweaty. Reiner does manage to weakly say that it's a letter from Ymir intended for Krista.
It's Historia, bud.
Hanji says that she has a bunch of questions, but Reiner says no to answering them. Now I'm trying to question myself. I think he says
what?
Krista.
He does say Krista, but
okay.
No, I'm not sorry. I was saying it's Historia, but
right.
to Reiner.
Oh, to Reiner, not
to you. Yeah,
because I was like, listen,
he 100% says Krista.
I really thought I was on when taking these notes, so I got to go back. So
he still hasn't got Krista out of his damn mind. It's
right.
like Bud.
Hanji presses her blade against his throat, but Jean yells out, begging for his life. That way they can perhaps steal his power. Good thinking, Jean. We flash back to Erwin explaining how Titan powers can be stolen. Just kind of a little refresher on all that, just in case you've been living under a rock. Hanji says she doesn't think all of the requirements have been met for them to do that, even though, other than the injection and someone eating him, to me it looks like all the objections have pretty much been met at this point.
I know. It would be interesting because there's obviously no one... Well, I guess Sasha is. Do you think they would have given it to Sasha since she's so injured compared to everyone else?
Perhaps. I mean, like, in reality, I don't know...
First of all,
once you're a Titan, you're a Titan. You know, I don't know how much of a...
I would be scared shitless to inject myself. I think maybe they would have given it to Sasha because she's so injured she would have regened.
Yeah, I don't think anyone... Yeah, at this point, with what they know, I think they would give it to Sasha.
Okay, because I, for one, would be scared shitless to inject myself.
Lady Armored Titan.
That'd be pretty hot.
She digs the blade in deeper, but Jean doesn't give up and tries to reason with her even more, and this leads into our very first time when Mikasa just says, Jean.
Oh, it's happening.
It is all coming together.
Wow.
She just says, Jean. And Hanji asks Mikasa how much gas she has, and it turns out she might have just enough to go check on Aaron and Armin. Remember those guys?
I forgot about them.
Wonder how they're doing.
By the way, Hanji, when she's doing this to Reiner and sticking the blade up to his throat, I would love to be Reiner in this situation.
Well, you chill out.
Oh, dude, she's
okay.
cray-cray.
Let go of my hand. You're getting too intense. Hanji tells her to do just that and bring back the injection from Captain Levi. We cut quickly to Mikasa with tears swelling in her eyes as she pulls up on a very cruel scene.
Ooh.
Aaron is crying over
choice.
Armin. Thank you. Aaron is crying over Armin's body with hope since Armin let out the slightest of breaths. He's just, trying to believe that he's still hanging on.
He's giving him CPR.
Aaron yells for Levi to get the syringe and make Armin a Titan. Levi grabs the injection, and as Mikasa realizes...
Well, first of all, he's being very lackadaisical when he's grabbing this thing.
You're right. He doesn't have the biggest
dolphin.
sense of urgency, but he is grabbing it.
Yeah.
And as Mikasa realizes what is going on, she launches a red flare to notify Hanji that things are getting pretty intense over here. And taking advantage of the flare as a distraction, Crocobillions swoops in and chomps up Reiner. I thought these guys left. Also, what do you think of my nickname, Crocobillions?
Crocobillions after you said distractions. I love it.
Distraction. This Titan, he's sneaky. He seems like he'd be loud. He's a sneaky guy.
See, I think that's his secret power. Sneaky.
And they're just like, so what can you do? Well, I can like crumble up rocks, throw them as basically like projectiles. And what can you do? Well, I'm a 50-meter Titan, 50-meter plus Titan. I can, just steam out of my asshole that just burns people to a crisp. Oh, what can you do? Well, my entire body's covered in armor. Oh, how about you? Well, I'm 4-legged and I'm pretty sneaky.
And I do all the bitch work. I give the Beast Titans all the rocks.
Everyone rides on me. Hanji barely gets out of the way as the three bad guys leave again. And all I'm going to say at this point is, Bert, they didn't put nearly this amount of effort into saving your ass, so do with that what you will.
Aaron was ready to fucking slice Bert in half if they did. But I will say this, Reiner is one lucky fucking bastard because he's been blown to bits like 7 times in the last 3 episodes.
He just keeps on keeping on, moving that consciousness lucky, all over the place.
He's like him and Flock. Flock surviving that whole incident with the Beast Titan. Like, how are they that lucky?
You are getting ahead of yourself. Connie tries to go after them.
Johnny?
I corrected it and I edited it. I was going to edit it, but you just had to say something.
All right,
so now we got to go start all over.
Sorry, get to the point with Chani.
Connie tries to go after them. What is he going to do? Who's Connie?
I'm glad you mentioned this.
Hey,
but how was it pretty cool though that he at least had the courage to do that?
Well,
remember what he said in season 2? He's like, "I'm gonna take down the Beast Titan, whatever it takes," because his mom, the whole thing.
Connie just keeps on keeping on. I'm not exactly sure how much he's bringing to the team, but he's there always, and he's just whatever he's doing, he's not letting that hair grow out. Jean blames himself, but Hanji owns up to her decision.
See, that's why she's a beautiful woman. Beautiful.
That's why she's a beautiful woman.
That's not your only beautiful on the inside. She's like, it's not your fault, Jean. I take all the blame. I'm a woman of my word, and it just turns me on hearing stuff like that.
Levi is handing Aaron the injection as Flock climbs up to the roof with a very injured but barely alive Commander Erwin Smith. Levi pulls back the injection, and Levi says he's using the injection on Erwin, and Aaron immediately steps up and begins to size up Levi. This is hilarious. Literally goes chest to shoulder with Levi, just trying to big dog him.
Well, Levi is a small man.
Levi says he's reviving the one who can save humanity. Just then, Mikasa pulls out her sword to escalate the situation by about 87%. Good work, Mikasa.
Now, we watched this episode together. When you first saw Flock carry up Erwin, were you expecting it?
I'm sure my thought was, hey, who the fuck is that guy with the red hair?
Were you expecting a decision to be made with this, or did you think when Armin was barely breathing, Armin's instantly getting an injection right here, right now?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I think you'd be a crazy person if you thought, like, in the moment something was going to change, but... I mean, I had thought about Erwin, but I wasn't expecting Flock to have him slung across his back climbing buildings. Seems pretty ridiculous. We get a
Flock, boy!
We get a very quick shot of Zeke in his
Flock.
I don't know. It's a very stupid name. It's almost bad as Flagel. We get a very quick shot of Zeke and his boys on top of the wall as he tells Reiner that he was extremely lucky. Will these guys leave already? These guys are really hanging around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say if they did try to fight, like, there's no way that Crocodilian could take on all the rest of them, right?
It just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he could make quick turns like the rest of them. He might be quick going forward, but he's got a big, long mouth.
I want to see him in action.
I do too.
God, why did this guy not fight?
I don't know what to think about this guy. He's honestly the most intriguing character as far as what they're capable of and the story behind them that I have. Obviously, after I realize with the knowledge I have of the rest of Season 3, I'm most intrigued by Crocodilian Titan later on. Maybe one other guy. Getting ahead of myself.
Flock.
Calling card. Not only can Titan powers and much-needed information be stolen by using the injection, but it also allows the revival of someone who is critically wounded. And so much-needed information, is that in the sense of just like with the founding Titan, all the memories they get from the past Titans? It's just really weird wording.
Yeah.
You think that's like what they mean by the much-needed information?
Yep.
All right, well, it seems like you have a lot of thoughts about that.
I was going to say more, but then I realized we're only on episode 18 of season 3. But yes, just memories from previous Titan holders. But it's not like it's a certain, like Eren, how he could somewhat remember things.
Right. Levi asked them if they have the faintest clue of what they are doing. The commander of the scouts, and they're saying, let him die. Levi tells him that he is doing it and tells Eren to keep his emotions out of it. Eren asks him why he didn't have the syringe or hand the syringe over right away.
Which Eren is usually good at keeping his emotions out of things.
Yeah, he's usually pretty level-headed, so this is really seeing a different side of him right now. And Levi said it was because he wondered if Erwin might have been alive. So while, Ronnie over here wasn't thinking that deep into it, he just saw a poor little charred Armin and wanted to save him. Levi was thinking about Erwin out there.
This is where things started being like, all right, I'm about to have an emotional breakdown with everything that's going on, because as we all know, I fucking love Commander Erwin, but I also have a deep love for Armin.
Yep, and we're getting into it, right? This is when you realize what's getting ready to go down. Levi punches Eren, which of course unleashes the monster that is within Mikasa. So she tackles Levi and realizes that his strength isn't all there, and she could take it by force if she really wanted to. And Levi stresses that without Erwin's talents, humanity can't stop the Titans. Flock, who instantly is just the new Bert in my book, finally speaks and tells Mikasa to stop the madness.
Good on him, dude.
Eren, who is so this is going to be your new thing, huh?
No, I mean, come on. Mikasa's about to slice Levi's throat, and you're siding with her, dude?
Becoming clear.
Really?
It's becoming clear. She just said she could just take the injection by force. She's not getting ready to slice his throat.
Never mind the sword that's an inch away from slicing Levi's throat.
Yes, because Mikasa really took into account what Flock thought. She was like, wow, I was getting ready to kill him, and then Flock said not to, so maybe I'm not going to do it now.
Well, you know what, dude? No, not everything's about Mikasa.
If that's the hill you want to die on, plant your flag in, that you're the big Flock stan, go for it.
I never said I was a Flock stan. I just said Mikasa's got her sword up to Levi's throat. She's really going to do this right now? Right here, right now, as Bert was saying?
In her head, she was just trying to take the injection. Eren, this is more important than what we were talking about, because Eren is dangling off the side of the roof at this point. Says that it's no different if they lose Armin.
Half of his teeth gone, mind you.
Yeah, I'm getting
what
to that.
What a punch.
Mikasa's happy to hear from him, so she yells out, Eren! So we're not quite on the John bandwagon yet, but we're, thinking we're starting to get a little money on that side of the bet. Eren starts to list off Armin's resume, who absolutely no one could ignore. This is some pretty impressive stuff. He's the reason why they saved Tross by plugging it with a rock, even though it's still amazing that he's the only one in the entire city who came up with such a complex plan. Enough said. He revealed Annie's identity. He came up with the idea of moving at night, which, this being on the resume, seems like as big of a lie as on my resume, where it says that I have great people skills and am experienced in Microsoft Excel, because it just kind of seems like basic knowledge at this point. Why he was the only one who thought maybe we should move at nighttime when these things don't move.
You're like great internet communications with other people, and you're talking about like your Xbox gameplay.
Yeah, I'm just like very experienced in software. That's all it says. Like, what software? I mean, Hanji had done experiments on Titans like Sonny and Bean before, and knew that Titans were usually less active in the night. So how Armin was the only one who was like, maybe we should move at night, because we never really saw that on screen either, did we? They just were moving at night.
Yeah, I think he might have mentioned it, but I feel like that's one of those things where multiple people mention that, not just him.
But he also, this one was all him, he uncovered Reiner's hiding spot, and the only reason they defeated Bert was because Armin figured out how.
And going back to that, Armin, well, we're talking about it right now. So yeah, Armin figures out how to beat Bert by only sacrificing himself, whereas Erwin figured out how to beat the Beast Titan by sacrificing everyone, including himself, which is pretty crazy.
And we actually, this was kind of a flaw in our last podcast. We didn't talk too much about this, but as far as weaknesses go for Bert's Titan, it is pretty, like, non-existent. Because the only reason he lost was just because
he got tricked.
He got fooled. It wasn't really because of a weakness. Like, if he had just taken the time and knew that Eren could do this so successfully, he could have known, oh, that's just like a shell of Eren's Titan. He's probably behind me.
Because as he was getting super skinny, like, he probably still could have used that steam a decent amount more.
So it was just his only weakness is that his steam that keeps people away from him. He can't do it forever, but at the same time, there's not a real way to force him to use the steam without just sacrificing lives. So pretty wild. Eren says the one who's going to save humanity isn't me or the commander, it's Armin Arlert. Dun dun dun. And Mikasa again tells Levi to give her the injection. That's when the only bad part of this entire excellent and emotional decision speaks up. And that bad part just so happens to be named Flock.
All right, let's hear your take on this, because I might have a little different take than you.
Who, by the way, he has very annoying hair. I like to call Armin's hair ridiculous. Flock's hair is just straight up annoying. It's like...
Armin's hair is like... It's ridiculous because I'm sure you say this because he almost looks like a chick, just his hair.
Not even a chick, because I think it'd be cruel for a chick to rock his hairstyle. It's just like... It's like a bowl cut that he's allowed to grow out, and now it's curving down around his face. It's very... I don't know how to describe it.
Well... Going back to Flock, yes, his haircut. Flock's haircut's stupid.
I've never seen a man who has so many layers in his hair. It's like he's got the bottom layer where he's letting the bangs hang down, but he's also got another layer that's kind of swooping it up.
And it's like he took the time while he was carrying Erwin over to fix his hair. Almost.
It really does, because he just like was riding to his death, and now it looks like his hair looks exactly like how it did in the morning when he put all the product in. But Mikasa brings up, and I did kind of just talk about how ridiculous Armin's hair is, and I was going to make a comment about it in this situation, but poor buddy doesn't exactly have any right now. His hair kind of got charred off.
I don't like looking at him.
Speaking of stinking, charred skin doesn't smell too good, neither does hair, but keep on with your armpit hot take.
There's a guy at the gym where I swear he smells like he was just burnt to a crisp.
Mikasa brings up a really great point, which is basically, hey, Flock, shut up.
I will not shut up.
He is so that type of guy. But he doesn't, he kept saying things about how everyone on the other side of the wall is dead, and he does reference how brave and what a great plan Erwin Smith came up with. So I kind of liked him for that.
Okay, him telling... This is what I like. I don't like Flock, like you said. I think he is annoying.
Here we go.
But Mikasa and Eren, especially Eren, dude, you talk about how stubborn he is. They're only thinking about themselves. He has to mention on the other side of that wall, how many was it? 50 to 100 soldiers. They're all slaughtered.
Right.
They're not even thinking about that. Like what happened over there. They're just thinking about themselves. And Flock is almost... He's speaking up for everyone else, because besides the main characters, he's literally speaking up for all the soldiers that don't have a voice.
Right. But at the same time, I'll have an argument, just for argument's sake, because I don't necessarily buy this. I love Erwin Smith. He's the GOAT. But you could look at it as, yes, we were put in a tough situation. Like, the bad guys had a pretty good plan, but Erwin did lead us to this death trap. And if Arwen might have played it differently.
Yeah.
He might not have had every single soldier just go straight to the wall. Even though they didn't have that many, he might have layered them a little bit differently. So it's just, in the end,
it's interesting.
They did all ride to their death, but it was because they were in a bad situation, and that was their orders, and they followed it. But listen,
and Erwin's speech, it's hard not to follow that speech. I mean,
Erwin is the man. I'm not, I'm just arguing for arguing's sake. Who knows if Armin would have done anything differently. He says when he found the commander barely alive, he began to finish him off, but that would be going too easy on him. Flock that he ought to take more of this hell. So, hey, this guy sucks. Your guy Flock here.
Okay, don't call him my guy. When have I ever said that?
You just keep like defending him, like, oh, well, let's hear what he has to say. And Mikasa had a sword on Levi's throat, and she changed her mind because Flock had something to say. Just really bothering me.
No, I didn't want her to change her mind because of Flock. I wanted him to say that so she sounded like a dumbass.
All right, well then, can we just take a second so you could put your final, your thoughts on Flock?
Okay,
Go. So
my final thoughts on Flock.
If you think I'm misrepresenting you.
I don't know why, but I love any time somebody talks like this guy right here.
All right, so that was 101 on how to say something without saying anything at all. That's from the master there,
No, I'm just kidding. I really don't like Flock that much, but I am glad that he was put in here. It could have been any of them on that side. It could have been Marlowe. It could have been a random dude we've never seen before. I'm glad we got the voice of someone other than just Mikasa or Eren on this situation. That's what I wanted to come out and say.
Yeah, we do have someone who without their opinion, and it's Levi and Hanji.
Well, but they don't say much though, especially because Hanji's she's not even in this convo yet. She's still.
Levi is a man of few words, but.
Well, I mean, he's got a sword to his neck that you fail to mention that Mikasa's about to slice him in half.
I mean, Mikasa's not gonna slice him in half.
Oh, buddy, Flock wasn't here. She would have.
So it sounds like you're all about Flock. Okay,
I'm not about Flock.
But
maybe I am. I like how he talks about the devil.
This is still Flock. You're getting ahead of yourself because I'm getting ready to say that 5 seconds from now. But that was when he realized the only one who can lay waste to the Titans is
a devil.
A devil. Really hate that you stepped on my commentary there.
So what do you think about this? Do you hate that Flock is saying this right here too, or what?
Flock needs to just take a chill pill. Okay, that's what I think.
This is an intense moment. For one, I agree. I think Flock, you kind of need to just chill, bro. You had a couple words that you said. Now just take a backseat. But at the same time, it's such an intense moment. I'm sure everyone's emotions are running wild, and he's not thinking straight.
Oh, so you understand where he's coming from? Okay,
yeah,
God,
he's a great
this guy's
guy.
the biggest Flock fan ever. And he thinks that if he can bring back the devil, can I just get through Flock's dialogue here? Jesus Christ. I keep thinking I'm done, and then I look at my notes, and he's still talking. So Flock says, and then he thinks that if he can bring back the devil, that his life's mission... That must be his life's mission.
Wow, great notes on Flock.
Oh my God, this guy over here. I didn't say a word when you were flipping through your pages.
Must have missed the copy and paste on that one.
And he thinks that if he can bring back the devil, that must be his life's mission, because that must be why he survived like a coward when everyone else died.
How is he... I understand what he's saying there, but how is he a coward for surviving? Is he just saying because of what he said before the march?
I wouldn't be surprised if we flash back and he's riding behind like 5 guys, and when the rocks come, he goes and lays on the ground. I don't know.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. I was hoping you had the same thoughts on that.
He starts to make a move at Mikasa, who rightfully starts to swing her blade. Now, if she'd cut off this neck, that would have been something to celebrate. But
luckily, she's going for this, or she would have sliced Levi in half.
She's stopped by a combination of Levi telling her not to do it and Hanji grabbing her from behind. Jean, you're not going to say anything about Hanji grabbing you from behind? That's usually where you have some sort of inappropriate...
Well, Levi doesn't like pointless deaths, so thanks for speaking up, Levi, for boy Flock. Also, if Hanji hugged me from behind, I would combust inside my britches.
Gross. I hated that. Jean, Connie, Sasha, and Hanji are all just as shocked as the rest of us to see that Flock survived and is on this roof with the others. Pretty good note, huh?
That's a good note.
Hey, your run-of-the-mill wiki doesn't have that note.
They don't even notice Erwin and Armin. They're
just kidding. They're kind of more paying attention, looking at Armin, Bert, and Erwin. Levi takes out the injection as Mikasa begins to just scream.
That's such a sad scream, dude. This hit me right in the feelings.
Hanji pleads with her that she must know how important Erwin is to the future. But Mikasa, she rides for Armin and says that he can do all those same things. And Hanji admits that Armin is exceptional, but brings up the very strong point that he doesn't have Erwin's experience and leadership. We know that, Armin just 2 episodes ago had to pass off leadership to Jean because he just wasn't prepared for the actual fighting parts of it. He's more of a game planner. Hanji says there are hundreds of people that she would like to bring back too, as we experience one of the most painful deaths of all time. This one hurts just as bad as Marco.
And I have one of the best notes on this ever.
I don't want to do it. Okay, we see a flashback of our guy Moblet, Big Dick Moblet, who sacrificed himself and managed to push Hanji to safety down a well as Bert, the nuclear bomb, exploded.
Just a terrible... Bro, and I'll tell you this. I don't know if you caught this. This is actually professional note-taking that I got right here.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Every time Moblet has referred to Hanji in the show, he has said Section Commander. In this moment, he yells Hanji as he dies. God, most badass
just trying to make me tear up.
Ever, dude.
What YouTube video did you see that from?
People were saying... No, I'm just kidding.
But, of course. It's... I
was just going to say that, like you said, this is actually... I know Moblet's just a side character, as some people would say. I don't think he is. I think he's a main character, but...
I'll be the first one to admit, the first time through, Moblet was very off my radar, but he's a guy that when you do a podcast and you go through every single one of these episodes, Moblet was a real dude.
Ride or die, dude.
Ride or die for Hanji. I feel like Hanji never even noticed him in the way that I think Moblet noticed her, and it just makes me sad. He just, it's a pointless death.
One-eyed Hanji. I would still make love to you.
Don't know how that just has anything to do with Moblet, but speaking of Moblet, don't get ahead of yourself. We got to have a moment of silence for these guys. The patent is still pending. We're the only podcast who thinks it's a good idea to just have 10 to 15 seconds of just dead air.
Yep.
But that's how much we respect the characters. So let's go ahead and start that now.
I'll totally take Moblet's place for Hanji. She would know.
Just so stupid. You don't even need to fucking say that. It's a stupid ass comment.
It's not. She needs.
Jesus Christ.
She needs some love now that he's gone.
Yeah, she does. The bandage around the eye is kind of working for me for some reason, but we can get into that later. All right, so thank you. Hanji says, no matter who it is, there comes a day to say farewell. How real is Hanji getting right now, dude? She tells them that she knows it's impossible, but they have to accept this. They have to move forward. Mikasa has a memory of the 3 of them running around, smiling as little kids. This takes me back to the old Red Swan opening season.
I know. It was just getting us ready for this. That's all it was doing.
And then looks as if she has just accepted the sad defeat. She kind of just lets her muscles relax, kind of falls into Hanji.
Aww.
Levi starts to move, but Eren grabs a hold of his leg. He asks Levi if he knows about the sea. And Flock tells Eren to cut it out. This guy's still here, still speaking up.
I'm surprised you weren't on Flock's side here, because you usually get mad when Eren keeps doing this type of stuff.
I'm not necessarily happy with it, but I'll tell you one thing: I don't like Flock telling him to stop. But that's like when you're like a dick to your little brother or little sister, but then you see someone else is a dick to your little brother or little sister. You're like, hey, chill out. Like, chill. I do that, not you. Like,
yeah, unless it's justified, but.
Well, you do let your sister take some pretty rough stuff because you're just a
She takes after her mom. She is a cunt.
Your mom's been very well behaved the last few episodes. We haven't mentioned her a whole lot. She kind of just...
Yeah, try not to say her name too loud.
I think she's watching a lot of the Great British Baking Show. I hear that's a fantastic program. Aaron continues as we see that Levi managed to punch out every single tooth in the left side of Aaron's mouth. Like, perfectly half.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress enough how goofy it looks. I kind of wish they would have done it differently because it is so distracting. It's hilarious. Like, none of the others are chipped or anything. It's just literally...
Perfect.
It's
precision right there.
He tells Levi of all the dreams that him and Armin had about all the things they planned on doing after this Titan mess had been dealt with. Levi yells for everyone to just get out of here. He's tired of all this back and forth. He's going to have Erwin
Let me mention
Bert.
this line. This is one of my favorite lines by Aaron, which actually hit me in the feels.
All right, lay it on me.
It made me think of myself. He said, "The only thoughts in my head are full of hate. But Armin's different. He actually has more aspirations than that. He cares about the sea." That hit me real hard in the feels because I feel like Aaron realizes, like, I'm the piece of shit and this guy just sacrificed himself for me. And that just, that
also
hit me.
goes back to our conversation last episode where it's, I think Aaron cares a lot about vengeance, not so much freedom.
We'll find out here in season 4.
Well,
who's right.
It can change, so that doesn't mean anything. Levi tells everyone to get lost. Connie, who is here, by the way, Connie, says his goodbyes to Armin, and Flock zips off with Aaron. So Flock's still just a part of this. Okay, Levi starts having some flashbacks of his own of when he asked Erwin what he will do if this dream of his comes true. Erwin says he won't know until it happens. Levi keeps thinking to himself about how annoying everyone is. He's just whining like brats, one after another. He thinks back to some of Kenny's dying words, which were, everyone had to be drunk on something to keep pushing on. Everyone was a slave to something.
Aaron's is freedom. Armin's the sea.
Well, you chill out over there.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
Levi takes Erwin's arm to give the injection, but just as Levi thinks back to Armin being hopeful about the sea one last time, Erwin yanks his one remaining arm out of Levi's hands as he mutters, "Teacher, how do we know there's not more humans outside the walls?"
Sensei.
Levi flashes back again to him telling Erwin to give up on his dreams and die, to lead the recruits straight to hell. He also remembers him telling Erwin that he would take out the Beast Titan and how Erwin, accepting his final destiny, smiled and thanked him. It's just a really good flashback moment when Erwin's kind of coming at peace with what's happening. And
all these flashbacks right here just hit hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. Is this where you got the most emotional in the episode?
Just hold on.
I'm waiting for your tears. Are you okay?
Just getting kind of emotional.
Come here, bud.
Levi takes a deep breath as we fade to black, and the next thing we see is a Titan form of Armin climbing his way towards Bert. Just a quick comment on this Titan of Armin, he might just dethrone Ymir as the scariest looking Titan, and lucky for us, even though his hair was all singed off just a moment ago, his Titan form manages to possess his exact hairstyle.
How awesome would it be if his whole Titan was just burnt? It was just like a black, burnt Titan.
I just really love the fact that
he's got the same hair.
It's like the Titan just knows, well, if theoretically, maybe he should be bald, but we're looking through his memory, and he's been rocking this one hairstyle for quite some time, so let's go ahead and do it. So all this led me to my reminder to everyone that Armin's hair is just so ridiculous. Oh my god.
He better change that shit up.
Oh my god. You think in season 4 he will have different hair?
It depends on how much time has gone by. Like, if it's just been 2 months in season 4, he's gonna have the same stupid hair.
All right.
So I don't know. That's a good question.
Also lucky for us was the fact that at this point Bert had regained consciousness, so he gets to experience the process of getting eaten by Armin. He's like screaming and stuff, and shockingly enough, he went out the same way he lived his entire life, scared shitless.
Dude, I really liked Bert when he stepped up in episode 50. I know I probably shouldn't have cheered for him a little bit when he fought Mikasa. I just thought it was cool. But him looking up when he like awakens as Armin's taking him and he sees Eren and them and he's like...
It all comes crawling back.
He goes, hey guys, like he thinks they're actually going to help him at first. That was...
Yeah, he
was
catches
crazy.
one more glimpse of his old fellow comrades and begs them for help as Armin's Titan treats his skull how you might treat a single M&M by just crunching the whole thing right between your molars, just...
And he yells for Annie and Reiner, were his last words.
And this is where everyone
R.I.P.,
kind of regroups, and Flock, who's still here, asks Levi why. Levi asks if he thinks he could forgive him and that Erwin had no choice tells him that Erwin had no choice but to become a devil. It was us who wished for that.
Oh.
And in the end, when he had finally been set free from hell, we wanted to bring him back once more. But Levi thinks it was time to let him rest. And this, Chaz, is where I was just going through this line by line when Levi just says this so, poetically, so well thought out that I felt in my feels.
Okay.
I mean, I was in my feels the first time I watched this, but as I was going through it line by line, I really had to fight off some tears. It's just beautiful. You? I mean, what? Do you think I did this at the wrong part? Was it hitting you hard at other times?
It hit me hard when he was seeing all the flashbacks of Kenny and all that. That was probably, in this part right here that you're about to talk about, definitely these two parts. But I wanted to ask this. I forgot to ask it. Terrible podcasting. But right before we see Armin, when it goes to black and Armin is grabbing him, it looks like Levi. It doesn't show the top of his face. Do you think he is crying in that scene? Because it shows it shows right below his eyes. His bangs are kind of covering his eyes too. And then it just cuts to black. But do you think he's crying there?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Or maybe just tearing up a little.
I'm going to say no, maybe tearing up a little bit. But I think Levi's very confident. And while he's sad, and this is obviously the hardest loss he's taken, and from what we've seen just show times. I won't speak for before we knew him in the show. I still think that he's got so much confidence in what he's doing and stuff that he was able to just say bye and still... I don't know. What do you think? You think he let some tears fall?
No, I don't know about fall, but his
voice... I can see some watery eyes.
Yeah, watery eyes with a shaky voice.
Yep. I'll buy into that. And so then Armin falls to the ground. Levi talks to Erwin once more as he tells him that he promises he'd kill the Beast Titan, but is going to have to wait. Hanji takes his time to open up the poor man's eyelids and then says, he's dead. Hey, Hanji, we know.
Thank you, Hanji, for verifying it, though. You're beautiful. Don't listen to Ronnie.
I mean, just let the poor man rest. Don't open up his eyelids. Armin is pulled from the nape of his Titan, his beautiful golden locks flowing from the steam that's protruding from the Titan's body. End of episode. All right.
Banger.
So we got some follow-up
banger
questions here. So you were asking me if Levi was crying. My question to you is, do you think, when I went through the second time, I almost felt as if Erwin let go of life right after he muttered teacher, do you think there's other people outside the walls? And he died, and in the end, Levi had no choice but to save Armin because Erwin was already dead.
Oh, really? You have that take?
I don't know. Take. I don't know if I buy into it, but I think that is a viable.
Well, I like that you mentioned that. I didn't even think about that. That's an interesting take.
I don't. Like I said, I don't know if I buy into it, but I would say it's interesting because it's kind of like he says it and then he kind of fades off, and to me, I don't know. It just kind of looks like.
That's interesting because he does say Levi kind of says that he basically chose. it's not like he chose Armin. He chose for Erwin to rest, is what he says almost. God, I never thought about it that way, but now that you say it, that definitely is an option. Yeah,
go back and watch it. I think that either you might have that opinion, or you can see Ronnie's tripping. But
I kind of took it though as when he does say that, he realizes. I know he does kind of hint that he wanted Erwin to rest, but I think that he realized Armin actually does have aspirations other than, like, remember at the end of season, or what was it, end of part 1, he asks Erwin what he's going to do when they find the truth, and he's just like, I don't know.
Right. I
think he's more like, well, Erwin has no more reason to live. We're about to find it, like, we're right here. He's like, he needs to just rest, and I really don't know.
So here, I think the two differences might be Armin is living in a state of hope, right?
Okay.
While Erwin is living in a state of, like, need/want, as in, like, he's just got to figure this stuff out because he's trying to, make his father's life mean something. And maybe Levi's worried that, okay, even if they get into the basement, what are the odds it's going to have all the answers? The fighting's not going to be done just because we figure out what's going on. Like, there's still an entire side of this thing. Like, this poor guy just needs to be done. Like, let him rest.
And if he didn't have so much love for the man, he wouldn't have let him rest. I don't know. Yeah, I could see that. I feel like if he wasn't as close to Erwin, he would have instantly chosen, not even thought about Armin.
Yeah, so even with my potential theory, like Erwin died before Levi could even give him the injection, I do still believe that, with all of Levi's mindsets, that he was starting to lean towards Armin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's so sad thinking about Erwin as a 12-year-old kid. Yeah. He's literally had this dream since he was 12. He's probably about 40. So think about 30 years of fighting, and he is literally right there at the basement, and he chooses to die anyway. Or he chose to die. He listened to Levi's. He made Levi make the choice. He chose to die, and then Levi chose for him to stay dead, pretty much. It's just crazy that he had that dream for 30 years and was right there and couldn't fulfill it. Which we already know that he pretty much knows that there's people outside the walls, because, I mean, he knows that there is, but at the same time he doesn't know the extent, if there's more or if there's not more. But it just sucks, man. I really feel for him.
So now the question of all questions. In the moment when you first realized they're both laying on the roof, we got one injection, we got Erwin, we got Armin, you're still watching the show, you're reading the subtitles, your mind, which one does it go to? Which one are you saving? When you're not overthinking things and thinking all of, like, how much Erwin's gone through and he needs to
right
rest.
At the first instant?
Yeah.
Well, you know that Erwin is my favorite character in the show, so...
Yeah, but just because he's your favorite doesn't necessarily mean... Well, it would obviously lean you that way, but...
This episode does Erwin such a good job of...
laying out both the cases.
Even when it first shows you, I didn't have a definitive answer. I really didn't. Erwin is my favorite character, but the fact that literally an episode or two ago, Levi told him to give up on his dream and die, and then now he might come back to life, I was so torn that I don't really think I was like, I just watched it out. I really didn't have a decision, yeah. Oh, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think in the end, with all, like, the explanations that Hanji puts out there, all that stuff, for the sake of humanity, I think Erwin is the right decision. And because it just got personal with Levi, and in the end, Mikasa and Eren were the only ones fighting for Armin. And I think that just goes to show how just much emotion was in their thoughts, because everyone else is like, listen, Erwin's got the experience. He's got, if he has both arms, he's going to be way more of a useful fighter than Armin Arlert. So he's got that going for him.
I will say this. He is 100%, in my opinion, the better option. But if I was Levi, I think I would have picked Armin. I'm a sucker when it comes to, like, kids. Armin's 15, dude, that, like, just letting a 15-year-old die who's done all of that. Oh, dude, that's such a
Yeah,
hard
I don't
choice.
think Levi made the wrong decision. I just, from
straight
up,
maybe he did. We don't know.
best of humanity, what?
He might have made the wrong decision. Like,
Well, for
depending
him,
on what
for
happens
him,
in the future.
for him,
Yeah.
I don't think he made the wrong decision.
But depending on what happens in the future to humanity, it might have been a terrible mistake. We don't really know.
But here's the thing. Like Armin, I do think Armin thought about stuff more logically than Erwin. So it's just going to depend on. It's just there's no way of knowing, because I would say if things are more going to be military based, Erwin was the right decision. But if things are more gameplay and logical stuff, Armin's going to be the right decision. And we just don't know what kind of scenarios are going to go down coming up. So who
The
even
show
knows?
is so grimy, man. Just having to make that choice, like, God, this show never fails to disappoint.
But obviously, we want to hear from you guys on this one. Let us know in the comment section of YouTube, because apparently people do listen on there.
And let us know how stupid our takes are if you just think they're awful.
Yep, just rip us a new one if you go, no, Ronnie's an idiot, Chaz is stupid.
Please
give
tell
it all
Ronnie
to
how
it.
much of an idiot he is.
If you agree with us, let us know that too. All at thepodcastchronicles@gmail.com. And once again, we haven't really gotten any of these Season 4 preview questions coming in our way yet. So send in the Season 4 preview. We can't wait to talk about it. I just saw the trailer for the first time the other day. I don't like watching trailers too much. I might watch it one more time just to have a good grasp, kind of, so we can maybe touch on it a little bit in the Season 4 preview.
And we're excited to cover the rest of this season for the rest of the bangers that are to come.
We got a few emails. Just want to shout these people out super quick. Sabrina, thanks for sending us a nice message. And once again, the iTunes review, that really helps us out. We like seeing those 5 stars, but leave what you think's right. Zachy BBB, which I kind of think I know who this is. I think he sent an email. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Sent the most poetic review I've ever heard in my life. I couldn't construct words this beautiful.
This guy's eloquence.
I mean, super kind. I'm not going to read it because that would just be a little too dick sucky for us here. But Zachy,
yeah, Zach, we ain't gonna suck it off, bro.
we really appreciate your words. Thanks for sucking our dicks. If you want to, get something going, just let us know. We can
merch.
maybe meet up. Just kidding. Even though there's nothing wrong with it. Once again, thank you for listening. Chaz, do you have anything else to say to the people?
R.I.P. Levi. I know he didn't die this episode, but
Just a terrible take to end this on. That's what you're going with. No. We are going to end this I'm not putting the outro music on this episode. How about that?
Whoa.
We are going to go with 30 seconds of dead air to respect Erwin Smith. I think it's the only thing right to do.
Smith. Yeah,
All right?
let's do it.
All right. Peace.
Peace.